Y'all didn't ask for this, but today we're making shrimp and grits. Okay, so let's start off with 10 ounces of frozen shrimp. You have to make sure you thaw them first though, because you don't want to be cooking frozen shrimp. Go ahead and peel that because you don't want shells in your teeth while you're eating. And then you're going to go ahead and wash them and season them with a teaspoon each of garlic powder, smoked paprika, pepper, make sure to stick that pinky out because we're fancy, and a generous amount of salt. You're gonna mix to combine. If a shrimp falls overboard, it's all good. And then you're gonna cut a couple of hot dogs diagonally. This is completely optional, but it's a cheaper way to add more protein to your dish. All right, now you're gonna smash some garlic against your board with your knife. This is kind of scary and I was hesitating it. But mince your garlic, and if you're a G, you can use other glycerin, it's all good. And go ahead and mince half of an onion as well as 4 ounces of mushrooms. Okay, now go ahead and get your stainless steel pan out and add a teaspoon of olive oil and get that scorching hot before you add in your hot dogs. This is because you want to increase the amount of fond in your pot and get a really good sear on those hot dogs. So once they look about reddish brown, go ahead and remove them from the pan and add in your shrimp. Now you don't want to cook the shrimp completely because shrimp overcook extremely fast, and so you only want to cook them for about at most a minute on each side. But don't worry, you're going to cook them more later on in the sauce. Okay, you're going to realize there's a lot of fond at the bottom of the pan. That's exactly what we want because we're going to add in our onions, our garlic, and our mushrooms. These are high water content vegetables, which means that once we cook through them and that water evaporates, the water is going to release from those vegetables, go to the bottom of the fond, and release the fond from the pan, adding so much flavor to your dish. But you're still going to want to season with salt, pepper, and smoked paprika. And so once it's all sweated out, it's going to look something like this. That's when you know you can add in your proteins back to the pan. Go ahead and mix and warm throughout, and then add in 2 cups of veggie stock. Add in 2 tablespoons of sour cream. This is just to make it more creamier and also thicker. Then add in 2 tablespoons of butter, and you're going to have to mix while the butter is actually melting. If you don't, when your dish is complete, you're going to have a pool of melted butter at the top of your dish, and it's going to look like some nahari. All right, let's start plating. And this is the point where if you're from New Orleans, go ahead and stop watching because I absolutely hate grits, and that's why I use mashed potatoes. And so I'm going to plate up by putting a generous helping of mashed potatoes in the middle of my plate, building kind of like a trench or a ditch in the middle, and adding in my shrimp mixture. Go ahead and spoon any extra gravy on top of the mashed potatoes. It's going to make it 10 times less dry. Add in green onions and some flake salt. Mine was garlic flavored. And if you're asking why I didn't include the mashed potato recipe, that's because this was filmed at 1 a.m. in the morning and I did not want to make mashed potatoes, so I used instant potatoes. But if you want a recipe for mashed potatoes, well, that's just for later.